So again, we have just had a presidential election, and we're going to have a new president with new thoughts for the next 4 years. Let's talk about the housing market. So I know investing, housing, all of the different markets, we want to understand how different presidents, different administrations affect what's happening. And I'm sure this is on top of everybody's mind. First of all, our housing market, there's a shortage. We have a housing shortage. We've been having a housing shortage. We will continue to have a housing shortage. From all of my research that I've done, I don't see that the builders are building as much, because when we had the housing crash in 2008, 2007, 2006, I don't even remember exactly when, we had an over of inventory. That was one of the issues among many other issues that I'm not going to talk about today, but one was having too much inventory. Then they stopped building totally, and now they're not building enough to cover what the market we have currently. So younger people are having a hard time finding homes. That's number one. Number two is the reason that that's happening. Yes, houses is expensive, so homes are expensive, and the housing market is expensive in every aspect of our country. So a lot of us parents that do have Gen Z children, we're thinking we have to help them somehow. And if my sons don't piss me off, I might help them. But that's up for in the air. So one of the things that we will affect your future home ownership or your future real estate ownership, depending on what the market, what's happening in the market now, is interest rate will not go back down to lower rates that like we had in 2020, 2016, 2018. We're never going to have that again, because that was free money. And because of that low interest rate free money time, we're experiencing inflation today. So we don't want that. Everything has an effect. When something is free one place, we're paying for it somewhere else. So we do not want to have that type of inflationary environment come again to us. We were lucky that it was a very easy inflationary environment, but that's not always how it happens. So I believe interest rate will stay between 5 and 7. I don't know how much. That's my belief. That's normal, in my opinion. When I bought my first house, interest rate on my house was 9.5%. My credit was 800. So it was not a credit thing. That was the market. 9.5%. Can you imagine that? So we are not going to go away from where we're at. We got to get used to normalizing. Interest rate will be between 5 and 7%, maybe 7.5%, depending on, how the market fluctuates in terms of mortgage. The second thing is the housing shortage will continue. So unless we have builders that are building a lot more, the housing shortage will continue. I personally think house price will go up. Why? Because it's going to cost more to build these houses. If what President Trump has talked about in terms of tariffs, it's going to cost more for us to bring in the materials, because we import a lot of that material. So if there's a tariff on the material is going to cost more, because it's the end user that pays for that tariff. So if that happens, then the cost of building a house is going to go up, which means the cost of the house will go up. So that's kind of my thoughts. Of course, all of these are just educated guess. So that's my thought. If we have more tariffs or more aggressive tariffs, that's going to be one of the things. The other thing is we have a labor shortage in our market today. I also believe labor shortage will continue, especially if we have stricter immigration. If we have stricter immigration, we already have problems finding people to work in construction or work in lawn or work in landscaping, and in every aspect of our economy, from the most educated to the people who clean our houses. We have a labor shortage. One of the largest amount of people are retiring. They're in the midst of retiring. The baby boomer took up at one point 20% of our workforce, and they're retiring. They have been retiring. That, I believe, is the reason we have a labor shortage, and we will continue to have a labor shortage, because this is a large part of our workforce, and they are retiring, and we are not replacing them. And then if we don't immigrate people to replace them or fix our immigration laws to make it better, because it is currently a mess, and we just deport everybody, then we're going to have even a bigger labor shortage. I live in South Florida here, where in my area is a very big equestrian area. So we have a lot of farms, and most of our people that are working our farms or landscaping our houses and things like that are foreigners and are immigrants. My farm owners are crying all the time because they cannot find people to hire to do the labor for them, and they're paying good money, but they just cannot find Americans to do the work. So that's one of our issues. So we need to fix our immigration in order for us to bring in more workers, because we are not producing these workers in our country. So all two of those things will affect our housing, will affect our real estate market, because if we can't find the labor to build the houses, and the material is going to cost more, it is definitely going to make housing prices go up. So if you want to start investing in real estate, I suggest you start. There's no time like the present. So you don't wait. There isn't a right time, because if we all had a crystal ball, we would know, and we will all be doing it at the right time. But there isn't a right time. All of us out here that have economic and investment backgrounds and experiences and education, all we're doing really is making really educated guesses and calculated risk. That's it.